Eddie V here, NAMM 2019, KUCR Radio here with Brian of Dialtune, doing something innovative with drum set. Tell me about your company.
Yeah, so we're Dialtune. We're a cable tuning system, and we're really looking about how we can take innovation on drum all the way to the next level. So what we have here is we have a 14-inch snare that we've built from the scratch, and what it is a cable tuning system. So instead of going at every single lug and tension point, there's just a single point on the drum that you can tune up and tune down the drum. Makes it really, really easy to tune.
So being a drummer myself and having spent a lot of time, jumping from lug to lug, flipping it over, jumping from lug to lug, it's an experience. It is a thing. But this is a new approach. I think the drum set hasn't changed much. What gave you this idea? How did this come to be?
Well, funny that you asked that. My buddy, who's kind of like the inventor of the idea, he was lacing up his snowboard boots. And if you know about the BOA cable system that they're using on snowboard boots, just to kind of lace your boots up so you don't have to tie your laces every single time, we're like, dude, wouldn't it be just easy if we had a single system that you could just tune a drum without having to go at every single lug point? So that was kind of the inspiration for the drum.
I'm assuming that wasn't a random thought. He's also a drummer?
Yeah, he is also a drummer. That's right.
Talk a little bit about how it works. What's going on here?
Cool. So if you take a look at the tube, over here is the dial, and in the dial itself, it's a gear worm. Same kind of gear worm that you'd see on the end of a guitar. And so what it does is when you tune it up, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you get this kind of cool effect. So I'll show you what it looks like. So right now. So when it's all dead, the next thing you can do is we made it really easy to pop the head off. So we use this called a quick release hoop, and we have a patent on all this kind of stuff. So all you gotta do is flip it like that, take the head off. That's it. Replacing a head, you can do an entire drum in under 30 seconds. So if you know about being a drummer, replacing a head, you pop it on a show, you're like, oh, damn it, what am I gonna do? This makes it really, really easy to stay in tune. And the coolest thing about this is not only the fact you can replace a head really easy, but say you're in a show, you're like, you know what, I got a nice little ballad. I want a nice little soft, low hum on a snare. But the next song's a little bit faster. Let's bring it up. So right as the singer's doing his thing, you're just cranking on the back end, and all of a sudden the next song, completely different snare.
And when it comes to the bottom, is it the same mechanism?
Exactly, same mechanism. So you got one on the top head over here, one on the bottom head over here. So you can tune the top and bottom head independently. And the cool thing about the bottom head, it also features a quick release hoop system. So say you got to change the bottom head. Well, there's two things that go on. One, you got snare wires coming through, and two, you still got to take the head off. So what we have is we have these little springs that pull off from pure sound wires. You pull off the springs, you take the snare wires off, you lower the tension, and you pull it right off the same way you do on the top head. Again, we're all about speed and efficiency, and in a drummer's world, that's life.
And it doesn't seem that it compromises the sound. So as this pulley, as you're kind of rotating and tuning, is the mechanism going around even fashion so it gets an even pull?
Yeah, let's take the top off and I'll show you. So if we pull the top off and you take a look on inside the drum, there's no more drill holes than any other kind of a regular drum with tension rods and lugs. And so we try to keep it that way so this system above it is free floating, so you're not compromising the acoustic qualities of the shell. And it's really, really important when we think about this because you want the shell to resonate, you want the head to resonate, and you want everything to be in tune. We try to make this thing as even as possible, as simple as possible, so people spend less time tuning, more time playing.
So is Dialtune also making the shells for the drums?
Not right now, we're not making any of the shells. Really what we focused on was the hardware, and we're looking at different shell options. So right now we sell a maple, but we're gonna think about how we sell a brass, an aluminum in the future, maybe a walnut, a babinga.
So you would mount the system based on the existing hardware of your drum set, where the lugs would go?
So right now, it's all first party, meaning we do everything. We buy the shell, and we drill the shell, and then we finish the shell. In the future, we're looking at ways that we can make this kind of like an aftermarket component. But right now, it's all just one system.
And is it just for snare drum at the moment?
Just for snare drum at the moment, but the snare drum is the hardest drum on the entire drum set. Not only does it have the largest acoustical difference between playing at the high of the highs to the low of lows, but you also have to compensate for the fact that it really needs to have its own voice and its own volume. So knowing that we've been able to solve for the snare, and I'll show you. when we play it on a tom, you can hear that it's going to have the same acoustical qualities of any tom that you have on a rack or on a floor. And that's really important. So knowing that we solved for the snare, the tom's actually really easy.
I mean, I would imagine so. It's very similar. Do you guys see yourself expanding into the full kit?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely in the plan. For right now, we just want to show off the technology and let people know that this thing exists. A lot of people don't realize that there's a better solution to playing drums. And when we built this, we want to say there was no compromises. So no matter what, we want to make sure that everybody feels that they're getting a superior drum, not a compromising drum by using a cable tuning system.
And this cable tuning system can handle the pressure you put onto it?
Oh yeah. Let's crank it down a little bit, how about?
What is it made out of?
Which part?
The cables.
So the cable is a Dyneema cable. It's rated at about 400 pounds. And what's really neat about this is, as we're cranking, you'll notice that we're going into the stratosphere. And I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna choke the head. That's basically what's happening. I can go as long as we want. The head is now officially choked.
I mean, it seems like you can get it to where you need it to be.
Not only did we build the drum to be over-engineered so you don't break anything on the system, but we also, when we think about even the rims, how can we make those better? So what we did is, on the flange, they bend inward just a little bit to give an acoustical property. Exactly. So that when you get like a cross stick, it sounds like it's a cannon. And this thing sounds amazing mic'd up.
I mean, I'm right here, and it sounds like a snare, and it pretty much still looks like a snare. It looks like a drum.
Right.
We just are being. It seems a little bit, or maybe a lot bit more efficient than the conventional way.
Someone's like, hey, take it down a notch. No worries. Don't worry about this. Just, I got you. How low you want to go?
How much does one of these retail for?
So right now, we're setting the retail price at $5.99. At NAMM, our wholesale cost is $3.99, and only at NAMM for a NAMM special, we're selling the drum, no minimum order quantity, $2.99 today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, hopefully some people take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a genius idea, something that is innovative. Every year I come and I'm like, how are the drums going to be different? This is truly a different way.
I really hope so. I really hope so. So if you guys are interested, check us out, www.dialtune.net. Shoot us up. We're on Instagram. We're taking email orders, whatever you guys need. We're answering questions. We're really just excited to get this thing out the door and hoping more people pick it up.
Congratulations, brother. It's a great idea, man. Thanks for your time. Yeah, KUCR NAMM 2019.